zones and conduits. So zones and conduits is a concept that's been around a long time. It's mostly talked about in the context of IEC ISA 62443. And the idea is that you break, you can have an enterprise network connect to a DMZ between enterprise and then connect to a processor controls network below that. You can have a DMZ connect directly to, an enterprise network connect directly to a control system. And the idea behind zones and conduits is defining what zones or levels of the network there are, and then what are the conduits in between them. So it's really, it's really the same approach that people have looked at for a long time. It's kind of like IIoT. We've added a flashy new name to it, calling it zones and conduits. So now it's important and it's really big. But fundamentally, it's breaking your network down into network levels and how you allow or what you allow between them in terms of communications and traffic. And, there's a lot of ways to go about that. You can, I know customers whose enterprise network connects to an ICS Defender at the head end of every assembly system. Okay, that's great, because what I've effectively done is created an extremely small DMZ in that Defender platform. And of course, it connects back, if it's done right, to another vendor firewall on the enterprise side. But it's essentially putting a cap at the head of every bottle instead of having this great big area with all these devices connected into it. So it's a great approach. I actually like that approach. But the thing it doesn't give you is, you can allow this device to talk to that device, and you can allow it to talk over a particular port. If it's a tool like the ICS 360 Defender, you can control it down to deep packet inspection of industrial protocols. So you can, let somebody sitting at a desk at headquarters talk to a PLC that they can write its own read on, right? So they can't make a change. So actually throw this back to your remote access use case. If you're using a Defender and your guy from New York can still connect to the plant floor in Detroit, but he's not about to change. He see what's going on, do some troubleshooting and something could affect the change. So the Defender gives you that capability. But again, it doesn't take care of east-west across the switch. So people will start segmenting into VLANs in the controls and process area. And let's face it, controls people don't get the concept behind VLANs. And I know one customer that's got something on it, 14 VLANs switch on the plant floor. And every time there's a problem, plant floor engineering, maintenance people's head melt as they're trying to figure out what's what and what's wrong and what's not the right way. So VLANs are a methodology imposed upon us by traditional networking to segment the network. And trying to do that on the plant floor is painful. And it's painful at the enterprise and everywhere else. That's why you see SD-WAN becoming so popular. That's SDN at the enterprise level. Cloud space is predominantly SDN. It's rolling through the enterprise. And when you look at the plant floor, bringing SDN to the plant floor offers the concept of microsegmentation. So it's no longer what's plugged into what port is plugged into. It's this device is allowed to talk to that device. And then you take it another step and you say, this device can talk to that device over this protocol. So now you really segment the network without the need of VLANs, right? So SDN, take away VLANs, don't need them. SDN, take away things like spanning trees, take away the ability to create a loop in the network because SDN won't allow that. It just simplifies network management drastically, adds a tremendous layer of security to the network, and just solves most of the problems that people have dealing with plant floor networks. Just because they're not taking these, let's just call them long in the tooth IT concepts of traditional networking and trying to cram them down into a plant floor.